Hello learners, welcome back to English Hub and today I am here with Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. This sonnet is must known for UGC Net English. It appears frequently in the questions on Renaissance poetry, sonnet forms and William Shakespeare's theme. In this video we are going to learn what is sonnet, sonnet 18, literary devices, themes, and line by line explanation of this sonnet. So let us begin with what is sonnet. We can think of sonnet like WhatsApp messages with strict rules. So here are the rules of the sonnet. It must have exactly 14 lines. It must follow specific rhyme pattern. It must be written in a specific rhythm. And Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnet in total. Sonnet 18 is most famous one. The basic story of this sonnet is: imagine you have a best friend who is very beautiful or handsome. You must you want to compliment them, but also promise them something special. So this is basically the story behind this whole sonnet. Shakespeare is basically saying you are more beautiful than summer, and guess what? Summer fades away, but you will live forever because I wrote this poem about you. Now, this is basically the whole poem completed in just two lines. For the deeper one, let's dive in. In line 1 to 4, we see a problem. What is the problem? Summer has false. Summer has the problem. And in line 5 to 8, we see problem again, that even sun can fade. Sun fades away when the clouds come in front of the sun. In line 9 to 12, we see a solution. But you won't fade because of this poem. Because of this poem, you will not fade. And finally, in line 13 and 14, there is a conclusion that you will live as long as human exist. You will live as long as human exist and will live forever as one can read this poem. Line by line explanation from line 1 to 4 is here. Summer is nice, but you are better. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Shakespeare says, should I compare you to a summer day, thou art more lovely? He immediately answers, no, because you are more beautiful and more calm than summer. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. Summer has problem. Strong winds destroy the flowers of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Summer doesn't last long. It's like a rental house. You have to leave soon. Simple meaning of this part 1 is that summer is beautiful, but it has problem. Which problem? It's windy, short, unreliable. You are better than summer. So this is the whole description of line 1 to 4. Now let us see line 5 to 8. Even the sun has problem. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines. Eye of heaven is here the sun. And sometimes the sun is too hot. It's uncomfortable. And often is his gold complexion dimmed. Sometimes the sun gets covered by cloud and loses its shine, and every fair from fair sometime declines. Every beautiful thing eventually becomes less beautiful. Fair is here equal to beautiful. By chance or nature's changing course untrimmed, this happens either by accident or simply because time passes and nature changes everything. Simple meaning of part 2 is So the whole meaning of part 2 is that even sun, the most powerful, brightest thing in the world, has bad days and eventually fades when clouds come in front of sun, and everything in nature gets old and loses its beauty. So this is the whole explanation of line 5 to 8. Now coming to line 9 to 12, but you will never fade. This is the turning point. But the eternal summer shall not fade. Your beauty, here your beauty is compared as your summer. You are summer, your summer. Your beauty, your summer, will never disappear. This is correct. Your beauty, your summer, will never disappear, nor lose obsession of that fair thou owest. You will never lose your beauty, it belongs to you forever. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. Even death cannot be proud of defeating you. You won't be just another dead person. When in eternal lines, to time thou growest, because you are growing, living inside the poem, inside this particular sonnet, sonnet 18. And this poem is eternal, is forever. Unlike the summer, the sun, or the beauty, which eventually will fade away, but here in the sonnet, Shakespeare has captured the beauty of his friend. So simply this part 3, line 9 to 12 means that unlike summer and the sun, your beauty will never fade. Your beauty will never fade. Why? Because I have captured it in this poem forever. Even death cannot touch you now because I have secured you over here. Because I have kept you safe in this poem. Now, coming to the last two lines, line 13 and line 14, the conclusion one. As long as people read, you will live. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, as long as human exist on this earth, so long live this, and this gives life to thee. This poem will live, and this poem gives you life. So, with this poem, you will always be alive. This is the meaning of part 4. You will be alive as long as human exist and can read this poem. Now, coming towards the theme of this poem, which themes we can see? We can see here immortality through poetry, how poet has captured his friend in this poem to live forever till the time the poem is there, till the time human can read. This friend of the poet will live forever as he has captured him in this poetry. Nature is temporary, sunflower, summer, all will fade away. Then we can also see power of art. The A good poem is more powerful than death itself. That is the power of art. This poem shows that it is more powerful than death itself, as death won't be able to boast about defeating the beloved. This is how the power of art can be seen. The poetry itself is the immortality to the beloved. This is Shakespeare's ultimate claim. We can also see idealization of the beloved, another theme, the beloved transient natural beauty. And we can also see carpe diem. Instead of seizing the day, Shakespeare says the art outlasts the day. Now let us see the literary devices. Metaphor. Metaphor is where we can see eye of heaven. Shakespeare called the sun an eye. The sky is like a face and the sun is its eye simply. Then personification can also be seen, nor shall death brag. Death is given human quality, the ability to show off, to boast off. And Shakespeare says, won't be able to boast about defeating the beloved. So personification can be seen over here. The volta, the turn. The turning point is where? But. When the line comes with the but in line 9, when it suddenly the tone changes towards a kind of a solution, but comes up, then what happens over here? There is a solution. But you won't fade. Why? Because this poem has captured you. In line 9 to 14, we can see this. Your beauty will not fade. Just think it of like it's raining, it's cold, heavy traffic is there, but my mom has made a favorite food at home. So this but changes everything. The but gives a turn to the whole structure. So this is seen in line 9. Then iambic pentameter is here. This is just the rhythm of the poem and each line has 10 syllables. The pattern is loud, soft, loud pattern is there. Like heartbeat, da dum pattern is there. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Here we can see 10 syllables. Then we have another literary device, apostrophe, when we are addressing the beloved directly, kind of a direct tone. Hyperbola can also be seen. Eternal summer shall not fade. Here, extra effects are being added. Now, here is a quick comparison between the Shakespearean versus Petrarchian sonnet. The structure is three quadrant and couplet in Shakespeare, whereas in Petrarchian we have octave plus sestet, 8 lines plus 6 lines. The rhyming scheme of Shakespearean sonnets are A B A B C D C D E F E F G G, whereas in Petrarchian we have A B B A A B B A plus C D E C D E. Now, what about the volta position? Here in Shakespeare, we have it before the couplet, line 13. Before line 13, octa volta position comes. And whereas in Petrarchian, after octave, line 9, resolution in the couplet is there. And in Petrarchian, we can see it in sestet. 18 belongs to a fair youth sequence addressed to a young man. The rhyming scheme is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. That is the hallmark of Shakespeare's sonnet. The volta in Shakespeare typically comes at line 9, unlike the Petrarchian sonnet where it's at line 9 dividing octaves or sestet, octave or sestet. The theme of this can also be art is long, life is short, can be the central theme. Comparing it with the Petrarchian sonnet, we can say that the Shakespeare's subvert the tradition by making the poet, not the beloved, the source of immortality. Comparing with the Petrarchian sonnet, we can say that Shakespeare subverts the tradition by making the poet, not the beloved, the source of immortality. The poem is an example of Renaissance humanism, art and human intellect conquering immortality.